It's here. Oh my God, thank God it's here. Hockey season is finally here. It started last week. I get no more withdrawals. I get my fix. Well, howdy, my name is Mark, your host here at the Chartreuse Leprechaun, and yes, I love ice hockey that much. I have since I was like 8 years old with the first NHL expansion. I played a couple of years as a kid, 12 and 13 years old, coached kids for 10 years or so, even spent a couple years officiating in local men's leagues. I absolutely love the game. Oh, and by the way, the national religion of Texas is football, American football. So I'm kind of a heretic around here, and I love that too. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Remember our dumpster fire situation? I'll link the playlist in the description below. Well, technically speaking, the dumpster fire's been put out and we're moving on. But we still have issues. On the bright side, we have a bunch of working computer parts now that may or may not get used in another used parts market deal with my children. Now, to be fair, they are AM4 parts, and two of those processors are like second generation Ryzen, so these may or may not be obsolete, but they all work. On the downside, my son ended up spending like $500 he didn't actually need to spend because of thermal paste. And yes, I am blaming the Leprechaun for that. I don't care if I did put that goopy stuff in the socket, it's still his fault. You remember that now, folks. No matter what, it's always the Leprechaun's fault. But that means my son couldn't get the graphics card he desperately needs to replace his very aging GTX 1660. Also on the downside, we still have equipment issues. You remember my new controller? Well, I can be playing this and it just randomly snaps off to some weird viewpoint. It's disorienting, confusing, and no idea where you're suddenly looking. Got me killed a few times playing the story mode of The Long Dark, too. Oh, and by the way, I've completed all the existing parts of the story so far. It's episode 4. Episode 5 has not been released at the time of this recording. It's interesting. It's fun, but it's just way too many cutscenes for my liking. Well, that was a fun side note, but back to the controller. I have no idea what the heck is going on with this thing, and it's only in some games, not all of them. Like I said, it happens in The Long Dark, but it doesn't happen in Fallout London. Oh, but wait, there's more! At the same time, the movement stick, the left stick? Yeah, left stick, doesn't always center. You have to keep fidgeting with it so it'll run properly. Meanwhile, we still have non-functional gear we can't replace yet. Situation normal around the Leprechaun, right? No, because it doesn't end there either. The thumb is still a problem, like a serious problem. Let's start with the good news. This area of the thumb is numb, which isn't important in the grand scheme of things. The feeling in the tip and the pad is still there, which is important in this grand scheme of things. And because that's okay, the orthopedist says there's no nerve damage to worry about. Unfortunately, there is some real problems with use. I still cannot bend the thumb tip. I can force it to bend, but I can't make it bend, which is a problem for gaming, guitar playing, and typing. And on top of that, controller use is sending tendon pain up the radial bone to the elbow, and occasionally I even get muscle spasms in the bicep. Physical therapy is actually making it worse. Now, we think it's a problem of overuse prior to the injury, and it comes from almost exclusively using the right arm and hand because of nerve issues down the left. We're doing our best to work through it, though. But what does all that mean for you? I mean, that's the real question you want answered, right? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, at the moment, we are continuing our Fallout London series on Fridays. Episode 11 is already recorded. However, there will be no short next week. I'm hoping I can make it later and add it as bonus content to the next volume of Leprechaun stories and collections. Meanwhile, we'll be starting a couple of new series. First, on Saturdays, we'll be playing The Sinking City. It's kind of a dark, kind of occultic mystery game. Yes, it gets into the horror and occult type stuff, which I've said several times I would not do, but I watched many a true nerd play this thing probably when it was released, and I thought it looked cool and interesting, so here we are. And then on Mondays, we're going to play The Division. Hey, post-production edit here, we are not going to play The Division. No. Instead, we're going to keep playing The Long Dark. Now, The Division was one of the first games, maybe even the first game ever suggested to us. And Kathleen, if you're watching, no, I have not forgotten. We'll get to it eventually, I hope. Now, she may or may not even remember making that suggestion anymore, and, she just had a baby, so even if she does remember, she probably doesn't care one way or the other at the moment. But I remember. And it looks like fun. And I've never played it or watched videos on it, which means it's perfect for us. So the plan is to work it into the schedule sooner or later. Let me know your thoughts on playing that one, by the way. I know nothing about this game. Anyway, congratulations on the new baby, Kathleen. Congratulations. What was it we were talking about? Oh, right, the Monday series. I think it was in episode 15 or 16 when I said... 15 or 16, I said that when we died the next time, I would end the series, and at the end of episode 18, I closed it out saying we were done. But you commenters in that episode, and actually one or two before where I announced that intention, said you want me to keep going. So true to my promise to play what you all want to see me play, we're going to keep playing this one. Now, there is a caveat to this. The Monday episodes may be kind of hit and miss. It will depend on the thumb and the hand and the arm, and how they're all doing, but that's the plan. And now a word about shorts. Like I said, there's not a short for episode 11 of Fallout London this week, whatever it is. And honestly, we aren't sure how soon we'll get back to doing shorts, though. It could be next week. It could be a couple of weeks. It's very dependent on the thumb, just like the Monday series. And that sucks because I really like telling Leprechaun stories. Speaking of Leprechaun stories and shorts, YouTube now allows shorts to be up to 3 minutes long. I don't really understand why they made this change, but, whatever. I don't think I have ever told a Leprechaun story that took that long. But, I'm willing to give it a try. Let me know what you think. And do we stay around a minute or do we go longer? Yeah. So to sum everything up, I am not being replaced. We are not shutting down, but we do need your help. Obviously, I need your prayers for my thumb and hand, as well as your prayers for the never-ending nerve problems on the left side. But more than that, give us your thoughts on shorts. Oh, and send us your game suggestions. We love your suggestions. We've played several of them. And we'd like to play more, so send them in. I've got a Google spreadsheet linked in the description with a list of all of our games and your suggested games, and feel free to share ideas that aren't on those lists, too. Pass your ideas in the comments, in our Discord, wherever. We'll look it over. We consider things like, does it support controllers? How old is it? System requirements, when we can maybe slot it in, all that sort of stuff. And we'll make a decision, and we'll try to let you know if we decide not to play it. Just be patient with us. It may be a while before we get to it. Right, Kathleen? Anyway, thank you for spending your time with us today. It's always appreciated. Give us your thoughts on The Division, your game suggestions. We also take improvement ideas, gameplay tips, please no spoilers, and, pretty much anything you have that can help us get better. Finally, as proven by this seemingly never-ending dumpster fire saga, the Leprechaun is out there. and he wants to mess things up for you, so beware. You have been warned. Always, always, always remember that if you see it and you can't quite explain it, you can be positive the Leprechaun did it. Now you have yourselves a great day, and we will see you here next time on the Chartreuse Leprechaun. Bye-bye.